And greetings and welcome everybody who's attending our session today, a Q&A on the topic of application lifecycle management. My name is John Krakowski, along with my colleague Evan Stoddard. We will be your moderators today. If we haven't met before, we are your longstanding North American-based points of contact, ASUG points of contact for all things application lifecycle management. And we have the special honor today to also have Tim Stoyer, Vice President, who is directly, good morning, Tim, who's him, and also we will be joined shortly by our Senior Vice President, Mark Tier, who are directly responsible for our application lifecycle management product portfolio, its strategy, its development, and its roadmap to offer their deep insight into our product portfolio and assist with answering your questions. Please, at any time, enter your questions into the Q&A area. Also, if you wish to explain a little deeper your question, please raise your hand, and our Executive Briefing Center contacts will unmute you, and you'll be able to talk directly to us. So as we wait for your and we'll be monitoring your questions, we'll kind of feel like you're in our living room and we're having a conversation about all things application lifecycle management. And one of the items in this wonderful event that has been going on for a day already is that our Senior Vice President, Mark Tier, conducted a keynote session yesterday, application lifecycle management for SAP solutions. Evan, we attended the session. Quite a few event attendees were there, and it seemed to be quite exciting for the COE audience. Tell me a little, what's your thoughts on key takeaways that may be of interest to our attendees today?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think Mark did a very thorough job going through our current ALM portfolio. Some of the key things I think that he covered, then these are questions that we get all the time. First, we talked a little bit about Solution Manager and how we're continuing to develop this platform. We're planning on opening a customer connection again to gather innovation requests from our customers and add that to our planning portfolio. And also that we've extended the maintenance for Solution Manager to 2027 with extended maintenance to 2030 as with the business suite. And really, I think that the main thing is that we still see this as a really important platform. And again, we're approaching, I think, 2 decades of the Solution Manager at this point. And that this is really our go-to for on-premise centric customers at the moment. And really, I think that we want, as we introduce like new offerings like Cloud ALM, we want to let people know that we still have this as an individualized ALM solution for customers that have specific things like custom code or maybe some tailored change request management scenarios that they want to maintain. We'll still have Solution Manager for quite a long time before we come up with some kind of successor plan. And the other thing that Mark talked about was partnerships, and really we also have some key partnership announcements this year, or last year actually. We started with Concorn with the ServiceNow adapter, and this is something that we get a lot of questions about. And that this is a product in our SAP App Store that you can actually use to connect Solution Manager with ServiceNow, and not only just for IT service management, but also for change request management, for requests for changes, and also for alert management. And this is something that we're very happy to have available, and it's really, it can be set up in about 30 days of work apparently. So this is something that's quite attractive. Also, the big thing that we announced recently was the partnership with Tricentis. And again, this is really providing test automation to our customers to cover the entire SAP product suite. And really, this is a very powerful and very popular offering in the industry. And we're very happy to have this. So we control, as in Solution Manager, we control the ALM, pretty much the whole life cycle, but then we farm anything with test automation out and can bring that back in. And again, it's also in the plan to also connect this to the Cloud ALM offering. And also, we did get a lot of questions recently about Signavio and that acquisition and how does this work with Solution Manager? And also Mark went into that partnership and how you can connect Signavio to Solution Manager. And again, this is more of a business process expert tool, like for process mining and determining what you have, documenting those BPM diagrams, and then we can feed this into Solution Manager. So really, it's also something that's going to be part of the Rise with SAP. I believe Tim will cover this also, how that works. But again, the nice thing about this is that we're really excited to talk about Cloud ALM. We're approaching the 1-year anniversary for when Cloud ALM was available. And this is the new kid on the block for cloud-centric customers. And this is really built on the SAP Business Transformation Platform. And really the nice thing about this, and again, I mean, John and I, when we first saw Cloud ALM back in, when it first came out and we were doing some initial testing, I think it took us 20 minutes to learn how to go and start working with projects and creating a project and going through tasks and starting to create requirements. I think it was very intuitive, very easy. It has the assistant on screen for the help. And again, the whole point about the Cloud ALM is that it's very easy to access. It's very fast to provision. I think Mark was saying it was about 15 minutes for when you request it to when it's available. And this is kind of mind-boggling for us who've been setting up Solution Manager in the past. And then the thing I also like about it is that it's always up to date. It doesn't require the customer to patch it or try to apply notes and all those things. This is done as a software as a service. And this is really our standardized ALM offering for customers that are cloud centric. And the whole point about this is that we can also extend this to on-premise for the suite and S4 on-prem. And this is recent. So it's really growing quite a bit. And we sort of see this as a future looking forward. This is the game changer for future proofing ALM as we go into the intelligent enterprise.
Great. That's what a nut in a summary for our attendees. It's a great session. Please, if you did not attend it yesterday, take a look at the recording. Also, please at any time place any questions you have into the Q&A, and we will address them right away. As part of a key takeaway in discussions, not only in a public forum like this, but also when you as an attendee go back to your organizations and companies and say, as we say, behind the curtains, where it's just you, no representatives of SAP, potentially even no partners. When we talk about our ALM portfolio, and Tim, to put ALM on the table in their discussions as they talk about their projects, their challenges, their strategies into the cloud, or what's the first steps would you recommend customers doing to start the conversation internally?
Well, John, this is an interesting question, and I'm also happy that Mark covered this quite extensively yesterday, because, you know, the decisions and the journey all start with the customer and where the customer is. There's nothing that we can decide or anybody else should decide. It depends entirely on the strategy where the customer wants to go. And here we had two great insights yesterday. The first insight came right at the beginning, at the opening, when Paul Corcina welcomed all of us to this great event, and where he shared what our customers are thinking about their cloud journey. That it looks like many of the customers have decided to go for cloud one way or another. And Mark shared a slide based on the 2021 IT spending report that was done within ASUG. But then we looked like one level deeper, talking to everybody or asking everybody who is here part of this conference. There is a clear path towards hyperscalers and to moving to cloud. But for, I think it was a very large number. I think it was like 70–80% of customers had not yet decided where to go and which path to take. And this is also something that has a direct impact on the ALM strategy of our customers. One thing that Mark always says is SAP will always provide the ALM solution that is right for the customer. And you're right, it was it was almost exactly 20 years ago when I had the first CD in my suitcase, and I flew to a very important customer Far East to install one of the first versions of SAP Solution Manager, and it's been quite a journey ever since. And if you remember what happened between 2001 and 2021, alone in the IT field, it is really tremendous what has changed. And with cloud now being everywhere, of course, there's a change in what customers need from an ALM perspective. And rather than building stuff on top of SAP Solution Manager, it was the right decision to build a new application lifecycle management platform for the cloud, because the cloud is different and the needs of customers are different in the cloud. And for those of you who had the chance to listen to Mark yesterday, he explained this nicely by taking a comparison look at the three major flavors of SAP S/4HANA. In a spot of RISE, we typically look at two of those, one being SAP S/4HANA Cloud as the public cloud offering of SAP. And of course, for a public cloud offering of SAP, the best option to implement it, at least in a standalone scenario, is to do it with a cloud solution. So with SAP Cloud ALM, that's the most logical choice. And I will dig a little bit deeper tomorrow in my detailed session about implementing SAP S/4HANA and the implication for RISE. Now, on the other extreme, so to say, in S/4HANA, we have the SAP S/4HANA stack on-prem that you have already installed and are running. And that is part of the intelligent enterprise. So this is also at the heart of the SAP strategy. But for this, you have lots of flexibility, and you need an ALM tool that can go, as my US friends say, go soup to nuts. Do application lifecycle management end to end for the entire stack. And of course, as this is a stack where you have a lot more responsibilities than in the cloud, you need a different kind of ALM. So for this solution, he suggested that for implementation and for software maintenance for Charm, SAP Solution Manager is absolutely the recommended solution. But when we now take a look at operations, it depends on what the model is. How deeply are you involved with a partner? Is a partner doing the system management for you? Is the partner using SAP Focus Run? Then you only need to look at what the implementation side of the house is like. And of course, in the middle, you have the best of both worlds. You have SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition, bringing the flexibility that you know from the on-premise days, together with the cloud service offerings that are now in demand and that are really highly acclaimed for by all sorts of customers. All customers want to go to the cloud, but for some of you, it's really difficult to let go of the flexibility. And for some of you, it is not yet an option to let go of the flexibility. So I believe this is, and this is really where we have to take a look into customers and do individual decisions and come up with guidances. And I will have some examples tomorrow what the deciding factors are and what the right questions are that you need to ask in your organization to take the first, to get the discussion started, to find the right ALM solution quickly. But John, I also see we have a question.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah, we do. Thanks.
Well, we should get started with the answers, right?
Yes, that's right. But thank you, Tim, for that summary. And to all attendees, use this foundational information to be bold and start the discussion within your organizations. Also, we will place into the chat a link for our application lifecycle management monthly community calls, where we can have ongoing interactions with all of us. But let's go to our question here. And for all attendees who have been joining, and thank you very much for joining, please do place your question into the Q&A, or if you wish to speak to us directly, please raise your hand and we will unmute you. So gentlemen, here's a question with the Snow adapter, which is the ServiceNow adapter into SAP Solution Manager. Do we understand that Solution Manager is going to spin off IT service management components out of Solution Manager to rely only on ServiceNow, or is Solution Manager going to continue the evolution of ITSM components? So, Evan, this is a question that we have heard before. You want to offer your first comments?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see us bringing in a third party to handle this into the solution manager. I think at the moment we have it's quite a robust level, and this is actually providing all the pretty much the messaging capability and all the different ALM components of solution manager, from requests for changes to test defects to incidents and problems. So this is all how we do all the integrated communication between solution manager, and also it integrates with the support backbone to send incidents into tickets into our support infrastructure. So no, I don't think I don't see on the roadmap that we would then bring in a third party for this. I mean, we do have an API for this, and also the productized apps like the Snow adapter. But again, we're not going to be, as far as I could tell, bringing in any additional external components for this.
Yeah, that's great.
I believe one of the key points for the Snow adapter is that, of course, we face a reality today that many customers all over the world use ServiceNow as ticketing environment. And this is spanning across the entire organization, whereas SAP Solution Manager was only really addressing the SAP side of the house. So I think the adapter, which is an SAP endorsed app, is a really good solution to combine the best of both worlds. So ServiceNow as a general ticketing tool, but also integrating into SAP Solution Manager for all sorts of other things, like integrating also into change, but also integrating into the backbone of SAP. And maybe we can also answer the questions really to the point. So we are not planning to spin out any ITSM components out of SAP Solution Manager, but the scope of SAP Solution Manager will remain as is. When we take a look at where do we see further investments, we also have to be really honest. We do not see any big investments in the service desk area on the roadmap for the next 3 years. However, we will continue to invest into change request and change control management, because we see this as a key differentiator that we have in SAP Solution Manager, where customers really rely on SAP to provide a robust environment to help them to either transition and move to SAP S/4HANA, and also to continually manage change in S/4HANA and also other applications. So this is even an area where we will invest. ITSM will remain in SAP Solution Manager, but not as a big investment topic. And the ServiceNow adapter really makes sure that everything comes together under one umbrella from a customer perspective. From an SAP perspective, we are focusing on the SAP tickets that are forwarded to us through the backbone.
Thank you, Tim. And also for our audience, our Senior Vice President for all things ALM, Mark Tier, has joined us. And this is a special time where we have both Tim and Mark available and supporting the event to help answer your questions. So please do take advantage of their time, your time with them today by posting your questions. Gentlemen, enterprise solutions and integrating or balancing enterprise solutions such as ServiceNow with the full comprehensive functions and features and integrating them into Solution Manager has always been a topic. And it looks like we do have a couple more specific adapter questions, and let me read them off. And they are somewhat from the same individual. So question 1, can the Snow adapter be installed on any on-prem ECC or SAP system to integrate with ServiceNow? And as part 2 to the question, the reason for asking it is if a user runs into an error, can they just submit a ticket, assuming this is an SAP incident, for this adapter to get support?
I can cover that question. The Snow adapter has 2 parts for the installation. One is actually the Solution Manager itself. So there's something you need to install on the Solution Manager side. But there's also a part that you need to apply on the ServiceNow side. Yeah? So 2 deployments that really physically happen. Concerning the second question, This seems to be a question related to what we would consider as built-in support, meaning I am in an SAP application and I would like to raise a ticket, not through the portal of ServiceNow, but through the environment within SAP, and then forward that. I mean, Solution Manager anyway works, right? That's out of the box functionality, but I can also channel it into ServiceNow as a ticket system directly. And the answer to that is yes. Yeah, the Snow adapter allows to create a ticket from certain SAP screens, not all, but certain SAP screens, directly into ServiceNow without involvement of Solution Manager.
That's great. Thank you, Mark, for it, and welcome to it. And, there is an additional question, and here it is. Question is: previously, the CMDB was integrated with Solution Manager by adding SAP IT infrastructure, the IT infrastructure management component. Since the SAP IT infrastructure management has been discontinued by SAP, do you have any third-party suggestions from SAP? Is the Snow adapter able to handle this? And we have the same question for the infrastructure auto discovery provided by SAP IT infrastructure management.
I can also cover that one if you like. So the answer to that question is we don't have a reseller on endorsed app for infrastructure management that I'm aware of. So we have not really a specific recommendation. What I see happening is that most of the customers are, as I explained, in private cloud, and with that they are also working with an outsourcer or an hyperscaler that usually bring an infrastructure management with them anyhow. Yeah. So from the ALM side, we are pretty agnostic to the infrastructure management tool of choice of the customer, and often it's the partner that anyway selects it. Yeah. Solutions like Focus Run in our ALM portfolio are open to integrate infrastructure management still into our ALM platform. So it's absolutely possible. We see smaller customers that are choosing even open source software like Nagios, yeah, and integrate it into Focus Run. Yeah. So if you want to have let's say a low cost solution, that's something I can actually tell you that customers are doing that. Yeah. The other question that you had is, does the Snow adapter allow or supports the integration of infrastructure management parts of Snow into Solman? I'm not aware of that, that this is a functionality that is provided. It's also not a very common asked functionality. The most, let's say, common question in the Snow adapter, and that's also the most complicated part in the integration, is I want to do the request for change within Snow, and I want to do the execution of the change within SAP. Yeah, but that's really still on application level. That's not an infrastructure level. So therefore, I would say the Snow adapter handles the integration between ALM, yeah, and ITSM, but not necessarily the integration between infrastructure management and ALM.
Thank you, Mark, and to our audience, we do tomorrow in our ALM track, we have a specific session about the Snow adapter from a Concord expert, Graham Henderson. Mark, as we, and also to all of our attendees, please do place your question into the Q&A or raise your hand and we'll open your mic. Mark, you spoke a little bit, you mentioned the word Focus Run. That was part of the recap that we provided earlier about your session yesterday. Would you like to share some of the uniqueness about SAP Focus Run and its target customer group?
Customer and partner group, we should say.
And partner group, yes.
Yeah, so Focus Run is one of our 3 strategic ALM solutions, and it actually covers the application operations for SAP-centric solutions centrally for all systems in a landscape. Yeah. So how it is used is practically in environment of a service provider is a service provider, let's say intelligence, has a central focus run instance, and all the systems of the customers are centrally monitored through that instance. Yeah, we are also using it internally in our private cloud environments, right, in HANA Enterprise Cloud, and we will also use it for the new private cloud offering of S4. In our own HANA Enterprise Cloud environment, 40,000 customer systems are connected to one focused run instance, centrally monitoring all these systems, highly automated, total automation, including follow-up on alerts. We are even applying AI there, meaning we are learning patterns of things that are happening, yeah, and we can see if there is a certain signal coming out. Okay, there's a combination of things happening. We can even predict the alert. Yeah, so that's another level of prediction. Yeah, usually you would say monitoring is predictive because you predict that there is some problem to an end user. Yeah. Now, what we are doing with Focus Run is a prediction to the prediction, meaning we are even predicting that there will be an alert coming. Yeah, so these are really very interesting things. Yeah, it's basically something like AI ops, right? That we are doing there, yeah, we have great adoption also, right? We have 300 partners and customers using it, right? 300 doesn't sound a lot compared to 15,000, but when you look at the number of connected systems, like 40,000 just in one Focus Run instance at SAP. We can really declare that we have a kind of de facto standard for application operations, and we are perfectly prepared with that for all, let's say, the private cloud movement, where customers are actually outsourcing the more technical operations, the basis, so to say, into a partner.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
But I would also yes. add that, I mean, a lot of this capabilities, because the platform runs exclusively on SAP HANA, and also that it's pretty much optimized to run on HANA, which is something we could never do with Solution Manager, because we have to be support all databases. So the reason we can run on HANA is that it gives us all this capabilities that normally we couldn't do with all new code here. And also, I think it's what people find attractive is that the agent setup and maintenance is much simplified compared to Solution Manager. So there's a lot less overhead. So this also facilitates a much larger landscape that you can manage.
Yeah, thank you, Evan. To our attendees, please do, once again, place your questions into the Q&A or raise your hand, and we will open your mic so we can have a nice discussion. Welcome to our ALM living room, our virtual living room from two different continents today. As we wait on a new incoming question, Tim, you spoke a little bit earlier about discussion points that customers and partners can have within their organizations. A starting point for many discussions, including ALM, is from what perspective you come from, what experiences you have. And to be, I guess, almost, we can assume that most of our customers know about SAP Solution Manager. And with the introduction of SAP Cloud ALM, there's almost an immediate kind of looking at, say, feature parity, or can SAP Cloud ALM do what customers know that Solution Manager can do? In that discussion, to help guide our customers and partners to the right, or to the most informed decision, any comments that you can make about that?
Yes, absolutely. Those are very common questions. And we have started to address those questions over the recent events by offering sessions which are typically called which ALM solution is right for me, because there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Of course, initially, when you take a look and you want to learn about SAP Cloud ALM, one of the things that you obviously do is you want to compare it. Yeah? You want to compare it with SAP Solution Manager. But this is perfectly fine if you are continuing to do what you have done over the past and we talked about 20 years. But the thing is, if your ALM requirements do not change from your R3 days, I think you should not even look into SAP Cloud ALM for the next couple of years, because the goal of SAP Cloud ALM is not to provide the ALM that is needed for an on-premise environment, because we already have this. Why would we reinvent the wheel? It's already there with SAP Solution Manager with 15,000 plus customers live and happy, like Mark explained yesterday perfectly, with a great ecosystem. What we are doing and the journey that we have embarked upon is to deliver application lifecycle management for customers who are starting on their cloud journey or who have already embarked on their cloud journey, to deliver to them what they need. Typically, cloud comes with a big promise, and the promise is everything will be simpler, IT maintenance will be less, and users will be happy. Now, the question is always, how can you make sure that despite all of those promises of the cloud, you can still stay competitive, you can still build your differentiating capabilities, and yet not invest the same amount in IT that you did before, because that's also the clear trend, the clear promise: less money in IT, more money for the business, responsibilities shifting upwards. And we decided, and I think it was the right approach, to build an application lifecycle management tool for the cloud, because there's a strong bet for many different companies, but also re-emphasized through Christian Klein last year, to make SAP a cloud company, to deliver cloud solutions, to go into the market of subscriptions. Really prominent example, I mentioned this at the beginning of this conversation, SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition, the best of both worlds. And now we need to deliver an ALM solution that helps customers to onboard quickly, to have to not need a long and steep learning curve, but to work with it intuitively, like you and Evan had described it from your first experiences. So you need to have a very low barrier. Like Mark yesterday said, it's 15 minutes to get started, and you get updates. You get updates daily, and every other week you get a functional package which does not disturb your business. This is a complete different story from what we knew during the on-prem days. And this is why SAP Cloud ALM, of course, you should ask, does it do what I need it to do? So does it help me to manage processes? Yes or no? Does it help me to do testing? Yes, no. Those are excellent questions. And on this level, we should be able to answer those questions. But we should not ask, in solution documentation, when I'm in an N+1 landscape and I have two or three branches, can it handle that? Because the question is, of course, you can say technically yes or no, maybe, but the question is this something that SAP Cloud ALM is designed to do? And is this something that we would recommend from an ALM perspective for customers with a cloud mindset? And those are discussions that we need to have. This is also the year where we will start those discussions. We will start discussions with user groups on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. So we'll have discussions with a German-speaking user group, hopefully in the month of May. And in the US, with a great partnership and friendship, I would like to say, with ASUG, we have the Influence Council, which meets on a regular basis to discuss exactly those things. Not because we want to keep them internally, but because we need to get the conversation started with the experts. And then our goal, of course, is to have like self-service, to have presentations, and to have sort of like discussion forums where we can then answer those questions jointly, not only from an SAP perspective. We have a pretty clear view of what we think is right, but we need guidance from customers to fine-tune and adjust how we think. But John, one important thing that you brought up, and I will put it in the chat in just a moment, we have excellent learning opportunities about SAP Cloud ALM. We have an open SAP course, SAP Cloud ALM in a nutshell, that is already available today. It's a rerun that we did last year. And we just announced the latest open SAP course SAP Cloud ALM for implementations. This is a deep dive course running 4 weeks with an exam. And I think this has just been announced yesterday. And I will put it in chat so attendees can bookmark it and hopefully sign up and learn about Cloud ALM.
Great, thank you.
We have
Tim.
more questions, don't we?
Yes, we do have some. We do have some more questions.
Yes, we
We
do.
do have some more questions. Excuse me. Here it is. Quote: "We are hearing from SAP that we will be able to do analysis and monitoring using a new tool as part of RISE with SAP. How is this new business process intelligence with Signavio related to the ALM solutions?"
If you like, I can take that because
Okay, Mark.
directly working with Gero Decker, the CEO of Signavio, during the last weeks and months anyhow, and have also accompanied the acquisition discussions. The short answer is in business process intelligence and also in Signavio, which will get part of business process intelligence, there is no business process monitoring in the form how we have it in ALM. Yeah? If we talk about business process monitoring, we mean the monitoring of business process continuity. Yeah? Meaning the starting point of such analysis is either an alert or an incident, and it's a mission critical situation and we have to fix it. Yeah? That is the idea. Yeah? Business process intelligence is much more of an analytical application with a goal to show what functionality would make sense to consume based on analysis of usage of the system. How can I improve the usage of the system? And it's very business facing. Yeah? Also, yeah? Signavio is all about showing to the end user, in the business, to the process manager in the business, what processes do we have, what are the to-be processes, and that's probably coming closer to monitoring, but I wouldn't call it monitoring in the ALM sense. It's also about understanding how processes are used. This usually in the industry is referred to process mining, yeah, not to be confused with process monitoring. Yeah, mining is about analyzing the usage of the process, not from the perspective of a mission critical situation, yeah, but from the perspective, I mean, what's happening at all in that system, and how can we train the end users better? How can we configure the system better? Or how can we even just introduce automation with new features that are coming from SAP, with robotics process automation, where I just add a bot, yeah, in order to automate a process. These are the things that are in the heart of BPI, of business process intelligence. Yeah? So there is a distinction that you need to make, yeah, between monitoring a mission critical system, yeah, and analyzing the system so that I can improve its usage. Yeah? And when monitoring is used by PPI, what they mean with it is we monitor that the execution of the improvement has happened, yeah? Tracking, so to say, the improvement. Yeah? So monitoring is completely used in different ways, yeah, by the BPI team and the ALM team with completely different meanings. Yeah? What I can tell you is I have not seen any aspect of business process continuity monitoring in Signavio. Yeah? I've talked to the Signavio guys, to the CEO of Signavio, and asked, did you ever a situation where, let's say, Signavio was implemented and Solman was faded out? And the answer was never happened. By the way, vice versa, it's the same. There is no competition. There is absolutely no overlap between the solutions. It's a pure complementary thing.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. And as we're winding down, this is, I wish we had even more time today to answer your questions now that we're ramping up here. But we do have a couple quick questions, gentlemen, that I think are important. A bit of clarification from one attendee. The question is, from an ITSM perspective, what is the focus build evolution in the roadmap in the next 3 years?
I can take that if you like.
Thank you, Tim.
So when we take a look at the future of Focus Build, Focus Build is designed to help customers to manage parallel projects, to manage implementations with a substantial degree of developments and extensions and so forth. And so the change part is really strong in Focus Build. It's not the ticketing part. And we believe that from what we wanted to invent from SAP, we got most of the things done, and we are planning to extend and even broaden SAP customer connection by including requests that can also potentially be delivered with Focus Build. So anything any info or input that we get in the next round of customer connection can either fit into Focus Build or into SAP Solution Manager, wherever it is most applicable. But we do not foresee any investments in Focus Build with respect to IT service management from an incident perspective.
Thank you, Tim. And here, quite possibly, is a little preview into your discussion you had earlier, and also for your session tomorrow from one of our attendees. The question is it right to say that for our greenfield S/4HANA Focus Build requirements to deploy, we need Solman on-premise first, and then migrate to Cloud ALM in the future after go live?
Well, Mark, I believe this is what you explained yesterday in the slide. You said that for customers who start their S4 journey today, greenfield is a new implementation. We would typically recommend that this is done with the help of SAP Solution Manager and Focus Build, because of all of the things that customers need right now to get the job done. And those things that the customers need are not yet available in SAP Cloud ALM. So the assumption, implement SAP S/4HANA with Focus Build for requirements to deploy it, that is done with SAP Solution Manager and Focus Build, that is correct. Whether or not or when you should move to SAP Cloud ALM in the future is something that you as a customer need to decide. Of course, you would need to take a look at, does SAP Cloud ALM offer what I need as a customer to manage both the operations part and also the software change part, so the change requests that you manage. From our perspective and from the roadmap that we see, that it is likely that SAP Cloud ALM can help you with operations or with monitoring, like Mark explained, because many customers work together with a partner for operations and for system management. If you don't need that, then Cloud ALM can be a good choice rather quickly after go live. And also take a look at, what does SAP Cloud ALM offer to support the maintenance of SAP S/4HANA, and then also do a switch over, do a cut over on the ALM tool. For this, we are planning to provide guidance. We're planning to provide, wherever it makes sense, also tool support and certainly decision support, when to move and what to consider.
Thank you, Tim. I think we have time for one more question, which is remaining. And the question is, will Focus Build support non-SAP development projects, for example, custom Java applications?
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about Focus Build is that it starts from the business process and the business requirements, right? And then moves into how it's implemented with either configuration, ABAP development, or Java development. Usually, the Java developers I know have preferred tooling where they would orchestrate their work, and that is clearly, I mean, the market leader here is currently Jira, right? So what I would recommend in such a situation is to manage the whole requirements management from the business process side, yeah, through Focus Build, yeah, and then set up a connection for heavy Java development into Jira, that adapter, that APIs we have. And then execute the Java development itself, yeah, within Jira, managed by Jira with any Java tool that you would like, and then feedback the completion into the Focus Build process.
Thank you, Mark. And I think we have reached the end of our time. It's been, I believe, very productive. All attendees, thank you so much. And as a takeaway, one request is, once again, when you're within your companies and organizations, you're behind the curtains, please place application lifecycle management topic on the table, discuss it, reach out to us, to your topic experts, to obtain the right information to be the most informed for your decisions. So saying that for our expert team, our Evan and I, you will see us as your points of contact within the ASUG community. We look forward to seeing you in the future. And we thank very much a very special guest, Mark Tier, Tim Stoyer, for supporting us. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and look forward to hearing from you in the future and also tomorrow during our ALM track session.
I'm going to see all of you tomorrow, right?
That's right. That's right. It's a guarantee.
I put in the chat the Tim sessions on the 3rd at 1:15. So be sure to attend that one on Rise with SAP.
Okay. Jessica, Tiffany, we hand things back over to you. Thank you.